من رو سکو رفتم، کتک خوردم، کارمو از دست دادم، زندگیمو تاوان دادم. من با اجبار مخالفم.
نه به حجاب اجباری، نه به دیکتاتور.
اینجا ایرانه.
My name is Masih Alinejad. I'm an Iranian journalist, activist, and a troublemaker for the oppressors.
Women have been pushing back compulsory hijab laws and all the anti-women laws in Iran. But this is the time that the movement gaining momentum. This is a women revolution. They are the warriors in the middle of the street, pushing back Taliban, pushing back the Islamic Republic. These are the true feminists. These are the true Rosa Parks of Iran and Afghanistan. These are the women of suffragists, risking their lives, facing guns and bullets.
And police say has been arrested near the Brooklyn home of an Iranian-American journalist. Police say he was heavily armed. Journalist and activist Masih Alinejad posted the video to Twitter yesterday saying the man was at her home to kill her. She was targeted in an alleged kidnapping plot last year after speaking out against the Iranian regime.
It's not about me. It's about Iranian brave women within the society, and all I do, I just give them a voice.
Your voice is a threat to the autocracy.
My voice is more powerful than their weapon. They follow me. I have only one message for them. Can I use your camera and talk to them?
Please.
Which camera? I know that they're listening to me.
This one.
I want to tell you, گورتونو گم کنید. Go to hell. I'm not scared of you. I have only one life. You can kill me, but you cannot kill the idea. The idea is just fighting for freedom and dignity.
Yes, you can kill me. The Iranian regime can kill them. The Iranian regime can even kill you all. But they cannot kill the ideas. And I believe that Democracy Summit in Copenhagen should be all about promoting ideas, promoting some who risk their lives, who put the lives of their family members in danger to fight against freedom and democracy. We're not exaggerating when we say that the Iranian regime can kill us and can kill you. Today, I had the privilege to hear from distinguished leaders, powerful leaders, the President of European Union, the Prime Minister of Denmark, and many other leaders from the free world. All of them mentioned about the danger of the collaboration between dictators. Many of them, especially the President of Copenhagen Democracy Summit, actually said that how the dictators from China to Russia, Iran, Venezuela, working together, helping together, providing surveillance, technology, information for each other. And they all said that this is a big danger. But to be honest, that was my talk. That's why I'm here without my speech. Yes, this is what we have been warning for years and years. We, the dissidents, are in the position to tell you, the leaders of the free world, that this is the true danger we are facing. We believe that the leaders, those who are making policy, they are in charge of doing something, taking actions, close the doors of diplomacy towards dictators and open the doors toward freedom fighters. And when I keep hearing from the leaders beautiful words, powerful words, saying that, look, at dictators are supporting each other, I want to tell you that this is your time to support freedom fighters and come with solution. There is only one solution to end war, to end chaos, to end the authoritarian regimes. Solution is revolution. Whether you like it or not, I'm sure that many leaders in the West, they are scared of using the word regime change. They're scared of using the word revolution. That's why I want to introduce my true heroes here, who actually put their lives in danger for a revolution called Woman, Life, Freedom. Woman, Life, Freedom. So I am here, surrounded by my leaders. I want you to stand up. Kausar Iftikhari. Turn back. I want everyone to see you. She lost one of her eyes. She was shot in her eye by Revolutionary Guard. She says that I lost my eye. Stand up. I want everyone to see you. Because you were in the front line of the revolution. Turn back to the people. She lost her eyes, but she said that. I lost my eyes, but not hope. Sima Murad Begi, stand up. You are the true leaders that I want the freedom fighters to stand up. She lost her arm by the Revolutionary Guards. Kayvan, Mercedes, I want you to stand up. Mercedes lost one of her eye. She was shot in her eye by the Revolutionary Guards. Kayvan, for the crime of supporting her sisters. Kayvan, I am even ashamed to say that. For the crime of supporting her sister, Kayvan faced rape in prison. Yes, this is the true face of the Islamic Republic. And these women sacrificed their life. Women of Afghanistan, Roya, I want you to stand up. Roya put her life in danger. Nilufar, women of Afghanistan, they're giving voice to millions of women who are being kicked out from schools, who are being kicked out from universities. These women, they put their lives in danger. These men, they sacrifice their life. I have simple question. Among all these audiences, who is willing to stand with these people? Who is willing to support these people? Who is willing? So these people, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. We have a dream. Our dream is to get rid of Islamic Republic. Whether you like it or not, we are here to say that there is only one solution, not only about Iran, not only about Afghanistan, about all the authoritarian regimes across the globe. We need to understand that people from authoritarian regimes like me, like Mercedes, like Sima, like Kayvan, like all the women of Afghanistan, women from Africa, women from Latin America, Asia, Hong Kong, we deserve to have freedom, democracy, and dignity. And for that, we need only action. I keep hearing from the leaders of democratic countries telling us that, of course, we stand with the people of Iran. Please sit down. I don't want you to stand. I want you to sit down with your own allies to make decision to designate the Revolutionary Guards as a terrorist organization. And these are the living proof and evidence of the brutality of Revolutionary Guards. Today, I kept hearing about how the Western leaders want to stand with the people of Ukraine. Believe me, you are not getting anywhere if you don't stop the most important and biggest ally of the Islamic Republic, Putin, who sent drones to Putin to kill innocent Ukrainians. We keep hearing that people condemning October 7, people telling that we want to end the war in the Middle East. Yes, we are the people from the Middle East. We carry the wounds of war. We carry the scars of discrimination. We carry the scars of brutality of the Islamic Republic. But believe me, people of Palestine, people of Iraq, people of Syria, people of Iran, people of Israel, people across the globe, Ukraine, in the heart of Europe, we are the victims of Islamic ideology, Islamic Republic. If we want to end war, then we have to end Islamic Republic. That's the only solution. And don't think that I am safe miles away. Don't even say that I am brave. I am not. I am fucking scared of these killers. Yes, my fellow citizens, my girls, they are scared of the killers. We are scared. We deserve to have normal life. Facing rape is scary. Seeing killers in front of your house is scary. When they lost their eyes, when they face rape in prison, when women of Afghanistan facing rape under Taliban's regime, this is scary. I want the leaders of democratic country to be as brave as us, people of Iran and Afghanistan, to face their fear and end appeasement and learn how to actually support freedom fighters. I felt lonely. When I met with Leopoldo Lopez, the opposition leader, one of the well-known leaders from Venezuela, when I met Garry Kasparov from Russian opposition, when I met many leaders from Iraq, Faisal, from Syria, Ammar, from Zimbabwe, from Rwanda, from Hong Kong, we found that the only way that we can win this battle is getting together. Because United Nations, unfortunately, became a place to unite dictators. We initiated new organization. This is our alternative United Nation called General Assembly for Dissidents. So we invited all the dissidents, leaders, activists, powerful activists from 56 authoritarian regimes. I want to invite the Secretary General of World Liberty Congress, Leopoldo Lopez, here. Before coming on the stage, we decided whether we're going to sit and talk or are we going to walk. Both of us, we decide that we are not kind of people to sit down. So here we are. I want actually Leopoldo and I to talk about World Liberty Congress. And I have a simple question. Are you really call yourself brave, living under threat, being labeled as terrorists? Because Maduro called him terrorist. Putin called Garry Kasparov terrorist. Khamenei called me and these young activists terrorists. How it feels to be labeled as terrorists and how you overcome your fear.
Well, you know, Mandela once said that courage is not about not having fear. Courage is about standing up to fear. It's taking a step forward when you know you're under threat. And I know that's the way you feel. I know that's the way you feel when you know that people are knocking at your door with an AK-47. I know that's the way many of the activists here feel when they are in the streets, in their own countries, or even away from their countries. Because transnational repression, what happened to you, it's also happening to Russians. It's happening to Venezuelans. Recently, the Maduro regime killed a person in Chile just because of his ideas. So courage is about standing up for something that means, and that's what we are doing. And that's what we are asking other people to do it together, because we need to work together. And this is something that is very powerful. United against dictators is something that we all in this room and way beyond, we need to work. Because dictators, as we heard this morning, are working together. Autocrats are working together. So we need to work together. And that's why we started the World Liberty Congress.
And you want to sit now?
No, we can stand up.
Yes. So World Liberty Congress is a new initiative. We strongly believe that we should change the narrative across the globe. As I said that, a lot of leaders across the globe, they address the problems. They know about the collaboration between authoritarian regimes. But many of them trying to be politically correct. But believe me, we should decide one day to stop giving democratic titles to all dictators. We should come together and find a new narrative to empower freedom fighters, dissidents that we actually invited them from all authoritarian regimes, and ask them what is good from your own country. Let me just give you one example. 10 years ago, when I launched my campaign, you saw it over there, White Wednesdays, a lot of people in the West, even here in Denmark, were saying, shh, it's about compulsory veiling, it's about hijab. Hijab is required by Islam, so it's going to cause Islamophobia. Believe me, supporting your sisters in Iran and Afghanistan is not going to make you Islamophobic, because there are a lot of Muslim mothers joining us and telling us that we want to have a secular democracy, and this is not us causing Islamophobia. Those who lashes us, those who rape us, those who attack us, these are the ones actually creating an image of Islam that everyone is scared. So phobia is irrational, but our fear of Taliban and Islamic Republic. Our fear of all these Islamic officials is rational. So that's why now our World Liberty Congress is trying to change the narrative and tell you about how, if we say we want regime change, we want to overthrow the regime, a lot of people get scared. Leopoldo always have something about color revolution. Go on.
Well, you know that when we talk about democracy, it's very easy to get confused in what area of democracy you're talking about. Many times people would say, don't you think what's happening in the United States is a move towards autocracy? Other people in Europe even say, don't you think what's happening in this country is a move towards autocracy? And I believe that we need to be very clear. Yes, democratic nations are under stress. Their democracies are under stress, but that's a very different situation from the situation we have in countries, more than 60 countries, more than 70% of the world population that is living under autocracy. We don't have free and fair elections. We don't have the possibility to communicate freely. We don't have the possibility to move freely. So the reality is that we are facing a very different challenge than the challenge that is just to change public opinion for the next election. And that's why we think that it's crucial that we understand that if you care about democracy, if you care about human rights, if you care about civil liberties, if you care about women's rights, even if you care about the environment, you need to care about autocracy and how to end autocracy and how to promote democracy. Because the root cause, the origin of many of the issues that we care about are in the fact that autocratic regimes are leading that. And we also need to understand, and this is something that is not that obvious, that autocrats are working together. So let me give you an example. Masih Alinejad, she was the victim of a murder attempt.
I'm not victim, I'm a warrior.
Well, a warrior, but she was the target of a kidnap attempt. You know what was the plan? To take her from Brooklyn, New York, take her to Venezuela, and from Venezuela to Iran. And that's just one simple example of how autocrats are working together. If you look at the news every day, you will see how autocrats are working together. Maduro shaking hands with Putin, Putin shaking hands with Xi Jinping, with the dictator of Uganda, with the dictators of Zimbabwe, and many others. So the same dynamic is not happening in the democratic countries and for those that believe in freedom. And that's why we started the World Liberty Congress, which is an alliance of democracy defenders, of freedom fighters, of women and men who believe that in order to be free, we need to fight for freedom, because freedom is not free. And we also understand that the fight for freedom in Iran, the fight for freedom in Afghanistan, the fight for freedom in Russia, in Belarus, in Nicaragua, and in Venezuela is the same struggle. And I want to share with you one of the most important lessons of our first gathering in Lithuania 2 years ago. We had representatives from over 40 countries. We spent the first 6 hours of that day listening to the delegations of 40 countries. And at the end of that day, I told Masih, you know, we only heard one story in different accents, with different context, but it was the same story. The story of women and men being accused, of being imprisoned, of being tortured, of being forced into exile, of their movements being dismantled, of overcoming censorship, overcoming all of the difficulties that are the same. And that's why we are coming together. But that's not enough. And today, we want to tell you, especially those of you who are in positions of relevance in government for policy, that we need also that network and that commitment of the free world to stand together, because democracy, freedom, and human rights is not a cultural thing. If we believe that this is a universal value, we need to support the people from the countries that want to be free. As we heard this morning, 86% of the world population wants to be free. And that's the real people-to-people collaboration that we are pushing with the World Liberty Congress.
But we need to bring our youth from World Liberty Congress to understand what kind of actions and support we need. Let me be very clear. We don't want the Western leaders or Western countries to save us, but we absolutely want them to stop saving our dictators. When we manage to shake the regime, we want them to stop saving our dictators. Call for action. Women are here to ask the leaders of democratic countries to end gender apartheid. Believe me, in 21st century, gender apartheid is not a crime under international laws. So we want to ask the leaders of democratic countries to expand the definition of apartheid to include gender as well. That's why I want you to join our campaign called United Against Gender Apartheid. Women of Iran, women of Afghanistan got united to actually criminalize gender apartheid. And another campaign here, political prisoner support. Now more than 1 million political prisoners are across the authoritarian regimes. Alexei Navalny was only one of them who got killed. So we want to promote we want to actually ask you to talk about the situation of political prisoners before getting too late. We want to invite the youth, the members of World Liberty Congress here on the stage, because they had their own election, they voted for the Leadership Council, and they want to actually take your attention to the situation of the youth in all authoritarian regimes.
So why we believe that the youth is critical? We all know this. But the youth is the engine of all of these movements. And we strongly believe that in order to promote transition to democracy, we need to strengthen the youth of all of these movements that are promoting freedom, democracy, and human rights. And with you, we want to introduce the Youth Liberty Congress.
The youth are on their way.
Of women. Come here.
Aren't they great? And you will see their faces and names and countries displayed up there on the screen. And I will talk to some selected members of the youth activists. So tell us quickly your name and where you're from.
My name is Volia Vysotsky. I'm an activist from Belarus, currently based in Lithuania.
My name's Miron Garva. I'm a Kazakh political activist, women's rights advocate, and LGBTQ+ rights consultant in Kazakhstan, representing Central Asia, which is also known as these 10 countries. And I'm delighted to be here with you today and speak on the behalf of the Youth Liberty Congress.
Okay, and finally.
My name is Salim Qasem, and I'm a Syrian activist, and I work on bringing the narrative of what happened to the Syrian people over the past 13 years to light.
What are you fighting for?
I fight for the accountability for the regime of Lukashenko. Since 2020, after another falsified presidential elections, I was involved into the movement of exposing the crimes of the regime so that to identify those involved into the human rights violations. So we stand for accountability for the regime of Lukashenko, promoting solidarity with political prisoners, and advocating for their release.
Briefly, your cause.
Yeah, since the age of 15 and despite the police surveillance and detentions, I have been rallying for the systematic political reforms in my country within a civic youth movement called Oyan Kazakhstan, which is Wake Up Kazakhstan, and also advocating for women's rights and domestic violence law. And in Central Asia, domestic violence and femicide cases are excessively high due to that because government doesn't protect us at all. And even 400 Kazakhstani women die annually because of the domestic violence. And that's why me and my fellow activists annually organize feminist marches in my home city, Almaty, to bring the awareness. And also, I really want to say about this case that you probably have heard of, that the ex-minister of Kazakhstan's economy has beaten to death his own wife in a public restaurant in the city center of the capital. And after that, literally yesterday, he was sentenced to the prison for 24 years. And only after this case, Kazakhstan government has made a domestic violence law. And
I'm going to have to cut you off because I have to get to Syria now.
I'm so sorry.
Tell me quickly.
So we work on accountability, advocacy, and fighting the Assad regime and the horrendous war crimes that they have committed on us. Syria is one of the worst refugee crises with over 12 million displaced internally and externally. And accountability accountability efforts against them and their war crimes of what they've done.
And I am guessing that everybody on this stage believes that we should be listening to the youth and what they have to say. Am I correct? Yes. Thank you all for being here. You're all inspirational. And as you leave the stage,
Thank you.
let me just say, leave the stage and change the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And let me now introduce our next guest. We have with us Leonid Volkov, who is the former chief of staff to Alexei Navalny. He will be interviewed by Anne McElvoy, the executive editor of Politico.